Okay, sorry about that, people. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, wherever una day. I don't come back today. 3 days ago, we country reached 61 years after we then give we independence. But we all know say things not they work in our country. So today, I don't come for make I can talk small, me on small sense about why things not they work in our country. And I go want to let people and take patience and listen to them things I want to say. Development now a conscious process of the mind. Development now something where they come about as a result of the way we think, the way we understand life, and the things them or they put priority on our life. Not magic, not university qualification, not anything but what in the inside we mind or inside we brains, how we understand life, how we perceive life, how we they relate with other people them around we family members, we community members, we tribal or linguistic members, and all the people them where we day together. Now, of course, technology don't make such that I like they together with somebody, you able to influence them. You're able to influence in development. Other people, them, their thinking, their attitude, the things the way then they do, it influence we all because now we all in a social media. They quite they talk so people then they where they listen and it they influence them. This is what development is about. It's about the use of the power in us that creates or destroy and the result what they get from the things them what they use or how they make with life. This is what is called development. I put them in a simple and layman term. So if 61 years after independence, we're not able to see the things that we've been the wish for, a country with abundance state today, it gets problem with electricity, it get problem with water supply, it get problem with healthcare, it get problem with a lot of things that we not common things that we will forget. We need to examine why. A lot of people will just then go just make summary conclusion. Na politics. Na the party them. Alusain, Alasan, APC, SLPP. Yes, right enough. Then two parties here. Now they don't rule salon since independence. Anyhow, we talk now they don't rule the country. But if we talk about other political parties, then we may want to ask the people then are the other political parties here, then different from the one they hold the APC and SLPP. If we say yes, then different, then the question is what make them different? Now the book would then be different. Now the way would then they think different. Now the name of the party they would then they different, make them different. If we get for answer them questions, then we get for look at the track records of the people them within them parties here. Have they ever been political? Have they ever been members of other political parties? If yes, they may ever be members of the APC and SLPP. I'll assign. But not so that we come for dwell on today. What you want for talk on today? Now for find out why. It no matter which party the person they, it no matter which party they in power. Why is it that a country called Sierra Leone with so much resources? Sierra Leone get gold, it get diamonds, it get bauxite, it get iron ore, it get titanium, what they call rutile, it get platinum, where most people don't know of. The western area of Freetown is loaded with platinum. Una within at the hillside in the western area, or una we don't live na the hillside na the western area. When rain come, una can see something like grayish dark with the way they flow after the water don't go, we fiber like chiro. That way them people let me the rubber na the eye first them. That's platinum. Sierra Leone get a coastal area of about 500 kilometers north-south. We stretch 25 to 30 miles inland. We all na swamp. Swamp where they replenish itself from the rivers them where they flow from up country towards the Atlantic Ocean. That means that part of Sierra Leone na the most fertile area and a swamp. That place there can be the bread basket of West Africa. white man not stupid. In the 1940s, going to 50s, then come, they establish rice research in Agokupur. That's now Gambia district. Then go down south, they establish the same Nabont district, BAP area, Tomabom. They wanted to see how much they can produce. Then later, then go into full-scale academic research and development programs for rice. Then start them now WIFO along the Terry River. Later, now from that, they established Dala University College, where University of Illinois say they go can help for build. Then the West African Rice Research and Development started in Sierra Leone around early 1960s. The purpose was for come with different varieties of rice. We will grow faster in a shorter period so that we will get 2 harvests per year. Along the same time, we get research we then do palm oil, we get Masanke brand. Other countries then don't use all their research knowledge here. They don't prosper. Today we go to Asia. But it will surprise some people to know that some of the species of rice where the Asian countries then don't benefit from, where they don't become global suppliers of rice, the experiments were done in our very country, Sierra Leone. It will surprise a lot of people to know that. Malaysia today is the #1 for oil palm and oil palm products on earth. The Masanke, where Malaysia use for reach that level there. Now Sierra Leone they get them from. Sierra Leone they get them from. We get so much things in our country. Coconut, this coconut, the oil, then they use them in a lot of industries, from food to cosmetic, etc. Then, above all, Sierra Leone are the only country in Africa we get a natural harbor. What's a natural? If they want make harbor, they not get for begin build boku structures like how you go to Akoradi in Ghana, you see they make bank can right into the sea for control the water, then get for build other things them for make the ship then safe with them back. We get a natural harbor. And that natural harbor, now the estuary of the Rokel River. That gap between Freetown and Lunge, we go to Pepel. With natural harbor, if we want to develop them, they go take ship from Kisi Texaco, Grassfield, Eastern, right along to Usai Watakide, so to King Tom, back of Prince of Wales School. All yonder, then can build key for make ship then daddy. Added to this advantage, we get a location, Usai. If you say they fly by air from Freetown to any major city within the Atlantic axis, take to Bargain near Minaya, 55 minutes from Minaya by road. Bargain City. 8 hours. Not more than 8 hours. You go take more than 8 hours if you go beyond Bargain. It will take more than 8 hours, maybe if you dey go Glasgow, Scotland. But from Freetown, direct to any airport in London, in only 8 hours. From Freetown, across the Atlantic to New York, in only 8 hours. Freetown, direct to Miami, Florida, in only 8 hours. Havana, Cuba, Kingston, Jamaica, how you call this place? In Guyana, Curacao, all the cities, yeah, Rio de Janeiro, in only 8 hours. By sea, the longest time it take na 16 days. We have this advantage. That advantage minus the minerals we'll get before don't put we on a platform for become the biggest export processing country in Africa and maybe in the world. But there is something we should have done before we should have reached that stage. And today, that thing they will not do. A lip service will they get to them. Education. And the education, not to the one with the wait man left give. Education, we for build up people and forget the skills for run industries and for build technologies. For make we get education, we need for make a lot of inputs. As we country stand today with the population we get, for make we get a kind of education, we may need to be investing above $2.5 billion annually on only equipment and provision of school materials. If we include wages of teachers for make them live decent life and then content for do their job, if we include the cost of training teachers for technical and vocational teaching and the other things, then we may be talking about $4 to $6 billion per annum. Are we ready to do that? No, I would say. And why we not ready? I want to talk about it today. The reason we not do nothing in Sierra Leone for develop the country, not to politics. Not to politics now problem. To politics now problem. Far from it. And the way we they think. And the most unfortunate thing about the way we they think is we associate them with a status such that we believe the way a person gets education, if we think that way they. That's why I always say the responsibility for the slow development or the non-development of Sierra Leone, it lies on the head of the intellectual class. Me ready for take the blame. And I believe so we all ready for take that blame. Especially the class of people them we get education between 1960 and 1980. There'll be a small group of people who had all the access to materials and opportunities for get educated. They got educated, but they did not own up to their ethical and moral responsibilities. Rather than then come back and say, let us make this place, it is for all of us. We went back into society and became predators of that society, showing off our egos, trying to live lives that we cannot afford to live. And we end up for be the corrupt people them. We destroy the country. If people don't like it, I am sorry, but I have to say it. It is us who have failed in our moral and ethical responsibility. Every country develops according to the contributions of the intellectual class. Because the leadership that we always cry about is within that class. Leadership is not a person, it's a collective thing. If everybody within a specific class think and say, we have this responsibility to do this thing, let us do it, then it will happen. It's unfortunate people don't like me comparing Norway, but I have to, because Norway and Sierra Leone almost get the same population. Sierra Leone get more potentials than Norway. But Norway is a very developed economy. It's a very developed political economy. Not because God is unfair and partial, not because maybe Norway got independence a long time ago. Because if we argue about the independence of Norway, let us ask, did Liberia not have independence 100 and more years ago? Was Ethiopia ever colonized? So it's not a matter of independence. It's a matter of the way we think. Man is mind, and his environment is a manifest of his thoughts. This is what James Allen, a British philosopher, said, who wrote a number of books, amongst which was As a Man Thinketh. As a man thinketh, so he becomes. Yes, we may say, oh, this was because of European influence. This was because of that. But we have had independence in 61 years. Have we done anything to change what is not right for us? Have we done anything to come up with an educational structure and system that will allow the greater number of Sierra Leoneans to have access to develop their talents? Have we? Have we done anything to look at the potentials of our country and make strategic assessments as to how we are going to take advantage of what we have and build it into something that will profit all of us? Look at countries like South Korea. In 1961, South Korea was just coming from the Korean War. It was a broken nation, broken economy. The cities were in shambles. The capital city was like a slum. They have no minerals. But look at them today, an industrial and technological power with a very stable economy. As a matter of fact, South Korea produces a greater percent of the electronic semiconductors used globally. How did they manage? Because they built an educational system that will work for their developmental needs. In Sierra Leone, we are still stuck in that stupidity that we call education. We are a people who cannot develop our own local languages, but yet still we lecture foreign languages in our universities. We have never gone back to look at our cultural technological and industrial base to develop them. Yet we want to develop. Who should do that? It's the intellectual class. It's the intellectual class that should go and do researches, engage in researches that will bring the modern or imported with the cultural and make something out of it. If we had done that, the result would have been there would have been several cottage industries in the rural areas, which would have instigated other development. And it would have even assisted us to stabilize our population distribution and not have the awkward situation that we have today, wherein over 70% of the people who have lived in the cities and just about 30% or less in the rural areas. And yet still we cry, oh, what a dinner free tongue, lights in a dinner free tongue. Are we thinking? Are we really thinking in Sierra Leone? Are we making use of the power of mind, which according to the religions you people go to worship, tells you that God made man in his image and likeness? The Quran says, when God made clay and shaped it into man, he breathed his breath into it and asked all the angels to bow before him, before that object, and Satan refused. It's the same as in the Bible. God made man in his image and likeness. Are we thinking in Sierra Leone? Our problem is not politics. It's our idiocy. The way we think, the way we conduct ourselves. It is why when we go into public offices, it's very easy for us to misuse those offices and begin to go around and say, God mark. And which God can mark rubbish? Which God? Which God marks rubbish? That God only exists in Sierra Leone. And when people are in public offices, instead of doing things based on ethics, so that trust is the key to national stability and development. Instead of them doing what would ensure that they do as they like and create problems that will either be settled now in conflicts or later. Is this what we want to leave for our posterity? Build conflicts for them, sell our country cheap for cheap. And so when these people will come later, they don't have anywhere to stay. They don't have peace. Look at our children now being exported into modern day slavery in the Middle East. And yet we say we were the Athens of West Africa. I know what I'm saying will not go down well for a number of people or for a good many people. But I don't care. I have said it once and I'm saying it again. At my age, I'm not looking to make new friends. And I'm not looking for anybody's favor. I am looking to serve my conscience. That's why I say it as it should be said. If we want to change, we should have the temerity to face our fears. The only fear we have in Sierra Leone is our ego. When we face it, and put it under control, then we'll begin to see the realities of our shortcomings. You will never change if you don't accept what is wrong in you. So the beginning of change is to perceive, understand, and accept what is wrong in you. The other thing that is our problem is we want to live lives that are not ours. We ape being people that we are not. In the process, we lost our identity, we lost everything. And what is it we have today? Only God knows. I wouldn't say, because most of us don't even know who we are. We don't know if we're Africans. We don't know if we are British. We don't know if we're Americans. We just copy. It's time we go back to the drawing board. It's time we look at our social psychology. The problems of Sierra Leone lies in our social psychology. It lies in the way we think, the way we perceive life, the way we perceive our relationship with others, and above all, the way we perceive our rights and responsibilities as citizens. All of these come from a wrong perception that is within us. If we can change those, then we've started changing Sierra Leone. If we cannot, well, let the beat go on. Let's continue on this line. At the end of the day, it's going to take us somewhere a greater majority will regret. A greater majority will regret, not because it's going to kill them or harm them, but it's going to create a condition that will be like permanent hardship. And that permanent hardship will affect over 98%. Today it's affecting maybe 80, 90%. But if we don't try to change now, it's going to get worse. It's going to get more serious. And what will make it so serious is that at certain point in time, we may not even own the rights to our country anymore. And so we will become perpetually bonded slaves. I don't wish that for my country. I don't wish that for my people. That's why I'm taking my time to come and talk to people. Let us sit in our quiet moments and think, what can I do to help change the way we think in Sierra Leone? And for those in power who think it's by division that you can get continuity, think twice. Think twice. It's not helping you. It's not helping the country. Think twice. When you go out in the public, be measured and matured with what you say. As a leader, you are appointed for the people, not for a specific group. You are elected for the people, not for a specific group. When you go out in the public, deal with the people, about your group. You have the freedom of association, the freedom of everything, but don't juxtapose it with your duties. Don't. Next program, I'll come again on the bloodlines, because I think some people need to be told their bloodlines in Sierra Leone. 90% of the people going all over the place preaching division, hate, hiding behind a linguistic group. I want to tell them that I have done a lot of research, and I've found out that most of them are not even of that linguistic group. And I'll show them the connection they have to the other region that they think is their enemies. Blood connections. That will be my next talk. The relationship between all the peoples of Sierra Leone in terms of DNA, etc. That will be my next talk. And the next talk, I am coming with historical evidences, proofs that I have, because I'm doing a research to try to put together some materials on the relationships in Sierra Leone and how we are connected, irrespective of the language we speak today. I am sure when some people will begin to understand that maybe they are so, not what they think they are, they will begin to behave properly in public offices. I would not go beyond this today. I'll stop here because I have decided now to make my talks brief and to the point. Thank you all for listening to me.